Here's a shocking truth. The very substance some consider harmless might be silently unraveling young minds. Cannabis, often perceived as a benign recreational drug, is increasingly linked to a terrifying reality: psychosis. As a psychiatrist and addiction medicine specialist, I'm alarmed by the growing number of patients and families who still view marijuana as completely safe. Over the years, I've witnessed a disturbing rise in cannabis-induced psychosis cases, a trend backed by research. https pubmed.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov/3183911. What's even more chilling? Up to 50% of those experiencing this condition develop schizophrenia within just 2 years. https psychiatryonline.org/DOI1176 APP 2017 170223. But here's where it gets controversial. While some argue cannabis is a victimless indulgence, its potential to trigger severe mental health issues cannot be ignored. Cannabis-induced psychosis isn't just a fleeting episode. It involves acute symptoms like hallucinations or delusions that emerge shortly after use and can persist for days or weeks, even after stopping. Schizophrenia, on the other hand, is a chronic condition characterized by sustained symptoms, functional decline, and cognitive impairments, independent of substance use. The American Academy of Pediatrics warns that most studies https quite it's about probiotics /mghpsychnews.org/sounding an alarm, the link between cannabis and psychosis in adolescents and young adults, with earlier and more frequent use amplifying the risk. And this is the part most people miss. Continued cannabis use after an initial psychotic episode often leads to worse outcomes. Daily use and high-potency cannabis are particularly dangerous, with daily users facing up to 6 times higher odds of developing schizophrenia. health.harvard.edu/blog/teens who smoke pot at risk for later schizophrenia. Consider this all too common scenario. A promising young man, ready to start college, falls into marijuana use after leaving home. Soon, his parents receive a distressing call about erratic, paranoid behavior, and his once bright future is abruptly derailed. This isn't just a story. It's a growing public health crisis. Legalization and decriminalization have made cannabis more accessible to youth, fueling higher consumption rates. The normalization of cannabis use, coupled with the availability of potent strains, some with THC levels of 15 to 30% or more, compared to 3 to 4% in the 1980s, has exacerbated the problem. Adolescents, whose brains are still developing, are especially vulnerable, as cannabis disrupts circuits governing mood, perception, and cognition. High THC exposure, particularly from concentrates like wax and oils, significantly elevates psychosis risk, especially in those with genetic predispositions, pre-existing mental health conditions, or trauma histories. Preventing cannabis-induced psychosis demands a multi-pronged strategy: education, parental involvement, and community resources are critical. Policymakers must enforce stricter regulations on cannabis sales and advertising, limit access for minors, and mandate clearer labeling and health warnings. Societally, we need to expand mental health services and foster protective factors like strong social support and healthy peer networks. But here's the question I leave to you. Is our approach to cannabis legalization adequately addressing these risks? Or are we overlooking a ticking time bomb? Let's discuss. What do you think?